Jeremy Corbyn says the Labour Party won't be all about message discipline, but at this event they had a couple of key themes and they really did hammer them home hard. So look at what greeted the delegates as they went into the hall. Straight talking, honest politics. Those are big old letters and they're in capitals, not a great deal of subtlety there. And there was no subtlety about the way that Jeremy Corbyn returned to his key refrain again, and then a couple times more with feeling.
I want a kinder, more caring politics. Politics that's kinder. So let's put those values back into politics. The kinder, more caring world. Let us build a kinder politics, a more caring society.
You got that? Well, I think so. To be fair, we did not anticipate that Jeremy Corbyn was going to be a master of speechcraft, stagecraft, if you like. He's feeling his way. This is all new from his point of view. The transitions were pretty clunky, as they were indeed at his TUC speech not long ago.
Let me say something about national security. I want to say a bit more about how we develop our policy.
And saying a bit more about how we develop our policy is not exactly a message for beyond the hall. This is a particular bugbear of mine.
But seriously,
I would prefer that Jeremy Corbyn had done without the jokes, which are not his forte, and just focused on policy where he's much stronger. If we look at policy, he sets the bar high, as you would expect of a leader of the opposition.
We have got to be clear about where our objectives are.
OK, so let's look at clarity on the issue of Trident, for example, that he says personally he would scrap.
But in developing our policy through the review, we must make sure that all the jobs and skills of everyone in every aspect of the defence industry are fully protected and fully utilised.
So you get rid of Trident, and yet you protect defence jobs, as the unions, of course, want. I'm really not sure how one would go about that, and it sounds suspiciously like trying to have your cake and eat it too. What about on the key central issue of austerity? He's talking about the Tories here.
They expect us to believe there is no alternative to cutting jobs, slashing public services, vandalising the National Health Service, cutting junior doctors' pay, reducing care for the elderly, destroying the hopes of young people for a college education, or putting university graduates into massive debt.
Now, the language, as you'd expect, is quite emotive, but the thrust of what he's saying is that the Tories argue you have to do things like cutting back on the public sector, cutting back on public sector pay, making sure graduates pay big fees and the rest of it. But the election suggests that actually it's not just the Tories, it's quite a lot of voters who agree with that argument as well, who have bought into it. So the challenge for Jeremy Corbyn and Labour is to show how they think that they could do things differently. The big plus for Jeremy Corbyn is his whole manner and demeanour. It's so different to other senior politicians. This at the end, he's clapping the audience as much as they are clapping him. He always looks a bit awkward. There's no showboating, nothing grandiose about this Labour leader at all. A really warm atmosphere generally in the hall, and he would hope that some of that might have spilled over to those watching outside too.